mobile phone and tablets are permitted to use for the duration of the flight in airplane or flight mode. If your device does not have airplane or flight mode, it needs to be switched off now and remain switched off for the whole duration of the flight. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I started the stream and I forgot to. I started planning and everything, and I forgot to turn on the stream. So we're partway through planning. I'm just waiting for fuel. That's done. Passengers are on board at the moment. Can you let me know, if you can hear me okay? And the aircraft and everything else. As long as you can hear everything, we're cool. Right, let's get this going. 7.5, and we're going to put an extra 1 in. Oops, hang on. Clear that. I'll put an extra 1.0 in. Oh, that's it. It's done. Done. Execute that. Marvelous. M1 limits. 45C on the D rate, and takeoff. Oops, takeoff will be flaps 5. Oof, 143, 145, 150.
Ready for pre-flight procedure.
Yeah, hang on, Linda. CG is 5.5, so let's just check that trim is set at 5.5. I believe that's 5.5. That'll do for me. What are we doing? I'm pretty sure there's stuff I haven't done here, so let's check. So departure, departure from here will be on runway 18, and it will be, let's check my flight plan, it'll be a Nucky 8 Romeo departure. There you go. A Moki, not Noki, Moki. 18 Romeo departure. No, sorry, it's a Moki 8 Romeo departure. Okay.
Welcome on board this Ryanair flight. May we have your attention while we point out some of the safety
Oh, the doors are closed.
Boeing 737-800 aircraft. Please remove headphones during this demonstration.
Shall we turn that down a bit?
Emergency exit, each marked with a red exit sign.
There we go. Turn that down a bit. Don't really need to hear her. What am I looking for now? I'm looking for my arrival into Cardiff. So we're going to say ILS 30, and it's a Icta 1 Charlie. Cool. M1 limit, that's done, take off, select page, the runway is dry. We need to find the weather. Oh, excuse me, got a bit of a sniffle this morning for some reason, I don't know why. But I haven't got a cold, I know that. Departure airport details, departure airport, QNH is 1005, wind is 170 at 13. Ooh. 170 at 13. Yeah, takeoff speed deleted. Let's redo them. Yeah, 143, 145, 150. QNH was, what did I say? The QNH was 1005. So 1005. 1005 hectopascals, yeah, cool, put TCAS on in a minute. Let's check my squawk is 3601. Pre-flight procedure, Linda.
Pre-flight procedure.
And we'll sort out a better pushback. Oh, right, it's got to be something like that, I think.
Return to cockpit. Bladder knowledge. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
I'd like to remind you that smoking is not permitted. Thank you for your attention. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight.
Okay, let's go back here. Packs are off. APU bleed on.
Please check that the flight level is set correctly.
Oh,
Please check that the landing altitude is set correctly.
yeah, alright, I will. I don't even know what we're going to, I'll be honest. 320. Oops. Now the overhead, yeah, check. Landing altitude is...
Flight slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb. Climb now. Climb.
Pre-flight
Climb
procedure
now.
complete.
Climb. Crossing. Climb. Climb. Crossing.
I'm ready for
Climb.
pre-flight
Climb.
checklist.
Climb.
Pre-flight
Clear
checklist.
of conflict. Descend. Descend.
Pre-flight
Descend.
checklist.
Crossing. Descend. Descend. Crossing.
Voice recorder.
Descend. Descend now. Descend. Descend now. Increase climb. Increase climb.
On.
Increase descent. Increase descent. Maintain vertical
Check.
speed. Maintain. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain.
Set.
Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
Oh, come on, Linda. What are you expecting? Set on.
Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Tested 100%. Navigation and display switches. Normal, auto. Window heat. On. Pressurization mode selector. Auto. Flight instruments.
Say the current course and altitude and barrow.
Heading 83. Altitude 562. Altimeter 1005. Parking brake.
Set. Set.
Engine start levers.
Cut off.
Pre-flight checklist complete.
Thank you.
Ready for before start procedure.
Yeah, why not? Before start procedure.
Before start procedure. Before start procedure complete.
Before start checklist.
Ready for before start checklist.
Before
Before
start.
start checklist. Papers. Flight deck door. Closed and locked. fuel.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Say fuel quantity.
Pumps on. Passenger signs. On. Window.
Locked.
Locked. MCP. The MCP speed does not match the V2 speed from CDU.
Correct.
Before start checklist is not complete.
Abort.
All commands and checklists aborted.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Engine start procedure.
Engine start procedure. Waiting for the command to start sequence.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
Colonel Billington, good morning. Yeah, waiting patiently for 12.1 as well. Totally agree.
N2.
25 N2, cut-off levers engaged. Start engine 1. Oh! No. Engine start number 1 engine.
Engine start procedure. Starter cutout. Waiting for the command to start sequence.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
Thank you. Well, we're on VATSIM. There doesn't appear to be any traffic about. Don't forget, as you come into the room, please give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can hear
Operation
everything.
complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake set. Let me know that you can hear.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
25 N2.
Oh, 25 N2, cut off lever. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me okay. And also, you can hear Linda and the aircraft, etc. Everything's okay on the stream. Yeah, please, hit the thumbs up. It helps. The algorithm loves it. YouTube loves it as well. And if you can leave a comment.
Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
Okay, let's have a look, see if there's anybody around. Doesn't appear to be anybody else around.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal of the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Ready for before taxi procedure. Flaps 5 set.
I've just noticed I've got something wrong here. Departure out of LFLB is not 18, it is 36. Good. Six, and it was 36 or 18. I've got to look now. So I want to go that way out. That way? That's 36. Oh, that's 18. 18 departure. Let me check my flight plan. Sim brief. Yeah, it's the 18. I was right in the first place. I don't know. So, previous page. Come on. Departure. It is 18, and I had it right in the first place. Okay, there we go. Execute. Clear that. Okay. Thanks. Before taxi procedure.
Before taxi procedure. Before taxi procedure complete.
Roger, right.
I am ready for before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators. On. Probe heat. On. Anti-ice. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall.
Checked.
Checked. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers.
Idle detent.
Flight control.
Checked.
Flight controls is not checked. Before taxi checklist is not complete.
Abort.
All commands and checklists aborted.
Now, I did check flight controls, but I did it probably before she started. Anyway, let's taxi. Let's get out of here. So, power brake is off. A little bit of power. Get moving.
Taxi lights on.
Well, here we go. TW simulations, thank you. You can hear me loud and clear. That's good. As long as you can hear me, you can hear the aircraft. That's all that matters. And Linda, of course, who's done an excellent job so far this morning. sometimes she goes a little bit astray and says different things that I don't want her to say. She was telling me that she was out last night and got a little bit drunk, but I think she's okay to be my co-pilot today. I won't let her do any flying. Alex, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's really handy. Unfortunately, her voice is not that good. If she had a better voice, then it would be a lot cooler. You can speed up the voice, and you can change the voice, I think, to a different woman. But, you know, if it was a real voice as opposed to speech to text, it would be a lot better. But it is good fun. I like it. We'll use it, and then, you know, when I get fed up with it, I'll stop using her. I'll sack her, get rid of her. Well, she's put her sunglasses on. Starts off and she doesn't have sunglasses, or if the weather's gloomy or at night, she takes her sunglasses off. Okay, let's just hold here on this very sharp turn at Chambray and check out. There's nobody coming down, doesn't appear to be. Let's just increase this. No, there's nobody about, it's just me. I better, shall I go to 122.8? Just, well, I'm on 122.8, so let's just make a couple of announcements. Chambray traffic, Ryanair 2302, lining up for runway 18 for departure to Cardiff. In fact, I'm going to do the backtrack. Chambray traffic, Ryanair 2302, backtrack, runway 18. Let's do the backtrack. We've got the turn in circle. Now, this is the thing that disappoints me about X-planes sometimes, is that you get on the runway and you've got lights on the centre line. And I think to myself, why have they done that? Is that, you know, why couldn't they get rid of the lights? And it might not be an XP12 thing, it might just be a scenery thing. But I know, because I've done scenery building, and you can, you know, remove the approach lights so they don't impinge onto the runway. Well, I think that was fairly good turnaround. So we're going to pretend that they're not there and move up to the zebra crossing, so to speak. The beginning of the touchdown zone. Landing lights on, taxi lights off. We'll put the wheel wells on, wing on, and logo on for departure. Flight directors armed. Auto throttle, VNav and LNav.
Secured. Have a good flight.
They're armed but not activated yet. So yeah, I think we can go. Set engines to 40%. Stable. M1. Throttle levers moving on their own.
Taxi lights on.
Yeah, I've done that. And we'll get rid of
Takeoff thrust set.
takeoff thrust set.
$80 knots.
80
Throttle
knots.
hold.
Throttle hold. Bit of forward pressure on this yoke. There we go. We're gonna have to go quick. There we go.
Positive rate.
Positive rate, gear up. And let's hit command.
Acceleration altitude.
Thank you. wheel well can go off. We'll leave the logo on for a while yet. There we go, nice departure. Let's just have a look outside. I do like Chambray, I must admit. It's one of my favourite airports, departing and arriving. Although arrival can be a bit extreme, especially as you come down over the lake. Let's just turn that down a bit to there. Especially as you come from way over there and you come down the lake. It's quite a steep approach. Departure over the top of this hill here. Out we go, out of the valley and onward. So there you have it, nice departure. Don't forget, if you come in, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, the algorithm loves it. Only takes a second to click on the thumbs up there. So yeah, I do apologise that for those of you who came in, I was already kind of in my planning stage and was ready.
Approaching transition.
I forgot to start OBS. Looks as though we've got a bit of mean weather up ahead. Transition any second. There we go, transition. These are default clouds. I have got the reality.
Transition altitude.
I've got the Reality XP Lane 12 enhancement pack, which I can show you. I think. Fly with Lua macros. There we are. Reality XP X-Plane 12 enhancer, which enhances the clouds and does a fabulous job. But when X-Plane 1201 comes out, or 12.1, I think a number of these add-ons are going to disappear. They just won't be needed at all. Certainly weather is going to be the big one that's going to get affected. Whoops, just dropping my coaster for my coffee. What's Alex saying? Let's see. A friend of mine used to fly for Flybe, filmed it once, pretty cool. Yep, there is a good video on YouTube. Let's get these flaps up. There's a good video on YouTube landing into Chambray. Really nice. It might be the Flybe one, I'm not quite sure, I'll be honest. But yeah, Chambray is one of my favourite airports, really is.
Flaps upset.
And it's an hour and a half flight back to Cardiff. So it's not a long flight, but it gives you plenty of time to do stuff and have a bit of fun. Excuse me. We're coming up to flight level 100, so we can turn off the lights any second now. We'll turn them off now. Lights off, there we go. Get rid of the logo light and the wing lights. We'll leave anti-collision and beacon on. Just a quick check on the overhead. Yeah. Put the seatbelt signs to auto. Make sure no smoking is on. You forgot that, Linda. Yeah. Packs are on auto. Brilliant. So yeah, nice flight. We're on constraints, so we're just going to fly through to flight level 320. Come on guys, give me a thumbs up please, you know what I mean? Thumbs up, takes a second. Yeah, 12.1 is going to be a game changer for a lot of people, I think. Nico from Skymatics was streaming earlier his group flight, his Skymatics group flight, and there was some discussion there regarding 12.1. I mean, we know what's coming because they've released the change log, so we know what's coming, and there's a lot coming. Flight dynamics, weather, a number of different things are coming, which will be, I gotta say, breathtaking. I've only mentioned weather and flight dynamics, but there's a number of other things. I'm going to have to reread it again so I can process the information and have the information ready at hand if anybody should ask. But yeah, there's going to be some major changes for the end user, so that's the likes of me and you, but major changes for developers as well, because a lot of things are going to get affected. Certainly with the weather changing, that is going to change the flight dynamics on some aircraft, and the flight dynamics within the sim are being changed, so that's going to have an effect on some aircraft as well. So like the Zibo mod, for example, the flight model for this has been programmed by Twixtor, and when we have changes in X-plane, it's going to affect the flight model of the 737 for sure. And so, you know, hopefully Twixtor will be dealing with that. I'm a nonce. I wish you'd change your name, but XP DevTools and XP12 itself is absolutely horrendous. So you can't make a comment like that without qualifying it, because that's just a statement. And I don't mind you saying that, but I'd wish for you to back it up. So if you could explain a little bit why you think the DevTools are bad, and then why XP12 is bad as well. If you can give us an explanation instead of just making a statement, which is fine, don't get me wrong, and you're entitled to your opinion. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. So it'd be just good to know why you say that. Because, debate is good, isn't it? And unless we question and challenge, then we never get an answer. Or a good answer. Right, so I'm hoping I'm going to finish this stream before my wife gets back from the gym, because we're going to go in the garden. You have to use a 2-year-old version of Blender to use an ancient object import plugin for a start. And the game looks like a bread knife. I've got a bread knife downstairs, and I'm telling you, my bread knife does not look like X-Plane 12. My bread knife looks like a long piece of metal with serrated edges, and it cuts bread. I don't think I can cut bread with X-Plane 12. So once again, another silly comment. You need to explain yourself. So like I've talked about MSFS, haven't I? I'm a nonce, and you've heard me talk about it, and I'd say that I think it looks incredible, but I don't like it, because there's a couple of things that I dislike about it intensely, and I just can't get past them. And every so often, and don't tell anybody this, right? Don't tell anybody this. Every so often, I will load up MSF 2020 because I want to like it. I do. I'm not. By saying I want to like it doesn't mean to say that it's going to become my sim of choice. It will never be my sim of choice. The same as War Thunder will never be my sim of choice, or Falcon 4 will never be my sim of choice. But I think it looks incredible, but there are things about it that I just dislike intensely, and I just can't get past it. Like the UI, for example, the user interface, I think is absolutely appalling. It reminds me of 1980s, 1990s graphics. The camera system is absolutely atrocious. Although people tell me that you can set the camera system up to behave just like X-Plane. Well, I don't want to deal with that. Menu bar, there's a couple of things, but I think it looks fantastic. Just won't be my sim of choice. Self-explanatory. Laminar downgraded the MSAA. Well, did they? I don't know. When you say they downgraded it, I don't think they did actually. They just changed it, didn't they? They haven't downgraded it. It's still for, you know, you still got your MSAA, but they've done different things with it. I don't know. I mean, to the end user, when you say they've downgraded, have they downgraded it from a developer's point of view, or from an end user's point of view? Because all the end user is bothered about, right, is frame rates and what his sim looks like. The end user is not a developer. It's the same way as the end user is not a reviewer. I review stuff, and as a reviewer, I look at things entirely differently than when I fly. So trust me, if you were a developer, you'd never look back at XP. Well, I'm not a developer. I just explained that. I'm not a developer. I used to build scenery back in X-Plane 10 days. I used to build scenery, and you know, as a builder of scenery using the Lego brick system, I thought it was brilliant. But it, you know, it filled a niche. Yeah. I'm not a developer, I'm an end user, and end users are, like I say, are only bothered about two things, maybe even one thing: what the simulator looks like on screen, and then they're bothered about the fidelity of aircraft, etc. You think it's visually worse? Okay, fine. So, MSFS dev kit is made by people who actually know what they're doing, actual AAA developers. So yeah, but they're producing. I see. They're producing for the simulator. Yeah, they're building the simulator itself, aren't they? You can see the jagged edges on my stream. Where? Show me a jagged edge. Maybe you can see the jagged edges. I can't. You know. But then again, maybe I'm X-Plane blind. I don't know. I just like the simulator. Like I say, I go into MSFS. It looks fantastic. I like this. You know, the scenery looks good. I was flying over New York in a Cessna the other day. I've been to New York. You know, I flew up Fifth Avenue to Central Park. Yeah, it looked great. But there's just something I dislike about it, and I'm sorry, I can't get past that. Right, Alex, let's have somebody else. I loved X-Plane, but since I haven't gone back, feels like flying in the real world, especially in VR. Horses for courses, though. I don't miss building scenery, by the way. Yeah, I get you. I really enjoyed building scenery, and then it just got to a point where it became a job. Does that make sense? No, it didn't become a job, it became a chore. I remember I did an airport in India. Was it India? I'm pretty sure I did an Indian airport. Don't ask me why. I think it was India. And by the time I'd finished doing that, I said, no more. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember how many taxi signs I did. There was hundreds. Hundreds. It was just unbelievably bad. And at that point I said, no, I'm not doing any more airports. I've had enough now. So yeah, I can get you on that. Nonce. I'm not deluding myself. You know, there are things bad about X-Plane. Don't get me wrong. There are things bad about X-Plane. But I just prefer the simulator. Now, this is where it comes down to it, yeah? And I've said this countless times over the years. because I mean, at one time it's not as bad as it was. It used to be really bad, but there used to be a real schism between FSX and prepared users and X-Plane users, and some of the forums you used to go into, they were so toxic, it was unbelievable. I mean, really bad, really bad. People, just hammer. If you said you was an X-Plane user, you were denounced as a devil worshipper, and run him out of the village at the end of pitchforks. I mean, it was really like that, and vice versa. X-Plane users would say the same things about FSX and prepared users. They are the devil's instrument. They shouldn't be, they should be thrown out, cast out into the wilderness, and all this, that, and the other, which is a load of rubbish, right? And it comes down to one simple statement: it doesn't matter what you fly, as long as you enjoy it and you're happy with it, and that's all that matters.
1000 to level off.
Thank you, Linda. It literally is all that matters. It doesn't matter what you fly. You could. I know people who are still flying FS9. Yeah. Because they've got so much invested in it. They do paint jobs for it. I know people who fly FS 2004, and some people who are still on prepared and FSX and Aerofly and X-Plane 10 and X-Plane 11. And all of those people, notwithstanding, have one thing in common: they are happy with what they are flying, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Oh yeah, ortho for XP. It can be a chore. I mean, you've got the new ortho, which I haven't tried. I tried it when it was version 5. Whatever, 5.5 I think it was. There have been a couple of new iterations. Now, the reason why I didn't like using it was because I found that the updates, like as you moved into a new area, there would be a delay, and that delay would throw you off VATSIM. Because if you paused on VATSIM in X-Plane, you get disconnected from the network, and rightly so. Or if your SIM pauses rather than pausing the SIM, or if you pause for any length of time using Xpilot, you get thrown out of VATSIM, and rightly so. Yeah. So with the ortho, as it was when I first tried it, it used to it'd have these long pauses while it updated data, which kind of defeated the object. And whilst it was clever and you saved a shit ton of space, that was like a deal breaker. So it had to go. I've got terabytes upon terabytes of hard drive space, and I only download, I've downloaded the UK. No, I haven't, because I've got Orbex for UK. But I've downloaded Northern Central Europe. I've downloaded Spain and maybe parts of Italy.
Takeoff was great. We will see your landing.
Thank you. One of the things that doesn't really bother me, and I've said this for a long time, I'm not really bothered what the ground looks like from 32,000 feet. Yeah? So it can look like that, which I think is default. Yeah, that's default. I'm not that bothered about that. I'm more concerned about the inside of the aircraft here, what this looks like, than what it looks like outside the aircraft. I am concerned about what the environment looks like as I come into approach. So some people, I am not one of them as yet, but some people, they just do orthophoto for around their airport. Yeah, for maybe a couple of squares around the airport, so that when they're coming in on approach, they're flying over nice scenery. But once again, it comes down to what you like. Even things like ortho, it's so redundant. Yeah. Now you see, this is where Austin Mayer's vision vision, ideology, ethos conflicts with something like MSFS, right? MSFS, I've said it and I'll say it again, looks amazing. You know, the photogrammetry system is pretty cool, although sometimes you can fly over cities and not recognise them. So for example, flying over Cardiff, it doesn't look like Cardiff. You know, you have to get the update for it, you know, one of the cities for it, which is fine. Austin's ethos from the very beginning was that he was building a flight simulation for his flying. Yeah, so all he was bothered about was flight dynamics, blade element theory, and you know, being able to fly from A to B. Yeah, and as X-Plane grew, he then gave it this open source element, and so X-Plane for many years, for over 20 years now, has been built on the open source model. There are some parts of X-Plane which are proprietary, that belong to Laminar, blah blah blah, but for the main part it's open source, and that was the ethos of X-Plane. So third-party developers could come along, Orbex could come along, they could do their photo scenery. People like me, we could create airports, because the airports in X-Plane were frankly rubbish, and that was the whole ethos of X-Plane. Things have changed dramatically in the last 5 years, maybe a bit more, since X-Plane 11. There's still the open source elements to it, but slowly and ever so slowly, Laminar are adding more things in, which actually decrease the third-party element to it. And I really believe that when 12.1 comes out, there will be a load of third-party packages that are just going to disappear. They'll be completely redundant. I need to catch up on the chat here. Alright. Aminons, I agree. I also don't dislike XP. I just think we need to be a bit more objective in defining what elements are good or bad. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Even things like ortho, it's so redundant. I don't think it's redundant. It is a pain. It can be a pain in the backside. I don't think it's redundant. A lot of people like it. Alex says, I feel like MSF as it was a game. It was a huge leap forward. Each to their own, but I think MS have brought simming back to mass market. I think Prepared and X-Plane were very niche. Rising tide raises all. Yeah, MSFS did bring it to the mass market. Unfortunately, a large majority of that mass market are Xbox gamers, and they probably bought it when it was on an Xbox Pass, used it a few times, and that was it. I mean, there's somebody on YouTube or Facebook, and he puts videos of him doing landing a 747 at St. Bart's using an Xbox controller. To me, that says it all. You know, to me, flight simulation is very serious. I know people, as I'm sure you do, I know people who started off on Microsoft Flight Simulator 9 or even 5 before that, and now real world pilots as a result of what they learnt in flight simulation and VATSIM. So I look upon it as a serious form of entertainment, of my entertainment. Yeah, certainly keeps my mind active. I find I learn something new every day, kind of thing. Yeah, it has brought back competition. It's also brought back the competition which has sped up X-Plane development. Certainly, the X-Plane, the Laminar team is quite large now. It's a lot larger than it's ever been before, and they've pulled in some really great people. So yeah, I agree with you. Competition, it's good for competition. Let me just do a couple of things here whilst I recall. Let's get this up here. Should really be following my route. No ATC at the moment, which is kind of good. Before MSS, the industry was niche. Like, you have to understand the amount of money that has come into. Right. So the money. I'm trying. The money that's come into the industry has only gone into MSFS, into Microsoft's pockets. MSFS being out there, it hasn't generated more income for external developers, I don't think. Especially you look at the cost of things on their store. It's quite cheap, I find, or I've looked, and it seems as though it's quite cheap. Some of the things you can buy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think the money that has been generated has gone back to Microsoft, and what was the investment in the first place. So it'd be interesting to know how much Microsoft paid Zibo and AI Black Magic, or whatever they're called, for the actual package. It'd be really interesting. It has transformed the market for the better, no doubt. Patently false. Xbox users are still majority user base. Yeah, I said that. I think, yeah, a lot of the people who went to MSFS were Xbox users, and I would say the majority of them are just gamers that are using it once in a blue moon. It may have brought over a number of people to flight simulation. I certainly see an increase in the number of pilots on VATSIM, but I think there was a greater increase of people on VATSIM during the pandemic than there is now. If you look at the percentages during the pandemic, the numbers on VATSIM, and I can't talk about IVAO because I don't know, but on VATSIM during the pandemic, the numbers were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and that number seems to have stayed pretty constant now the pandemic's finished. So the difference between what was happening during the pandemic is people were stuck at home. They weren't going to work, or they weren't working. After the pandemic, a lot of people went back to work, but the numbers of people on VATSIM stayed the same. So that difference could be the MSF users' influence and X-Plane influence as well. I'm not complaining. It brings people into the hobby. I'm not complaining, as long as they behave. On VATSIM, I don't care what they do off VATSIM, and interestingly enough, there could well be more people using flight simulation off VATSIM and IVAO than are. Yeah, I remember some years ago there was discussion about the user base of flight simulation, and it was only like 250,000 worldwide, if that. You know, like 250,000 users of flight simulation. You know, that had purchased, that we could see. Yeah. So not a huge number. Not when you consider World of Warcraft has like 54 million users, or even EVE Online has more users than flight simulation. It's a very niche. It's a very niche hobby, and certainly MSFS going on to Xbox has increased that. You know, it has brought more people to the simulator, and obviously some of those will become serious simulators and, you know, want to learn properly. There are so many sales. Yeah, well, yeah, if you have the data and the data holds up, then fine. No, I don't think it is, actually. I'm a nonce. I don't think it is childish. I've been on VATSIM a long time, and I've seen a number of changes when different things happened. And as someone who's been on VATSIM a long time and held different positions on VATSIM, you can see the changes and the cause and effect. Yeah. Now, the without saying too much, I can't say too much because I don't want to. But I've seen dramatic changes on VATSIM over the years, for a number of reasons. I'm not just going to point at one thing, but I have seen huge changes on VATSIM for a number of reasons, and one of the latest changes was the MSFS user, yeah, and the complete lack of what's the word I'm going to use? Complete lack of knowledge and experience on how to fly online, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, you can accept that or not, but none of that withstanding, right? MSFS has brought a mass shitload of people to flight simulation. I say that quite openly and hold my hands up. But to say, I don't think I'm being childish. I'm kind of speaking from a position of authority on that. Yeah, I am happy. I am happy that there's competition, because competition is good. AI ATC takes over? You've got to be kidding me, Alex. You've got to be kidding me. Where do you see that happening? Have I seen Beyond ATC? No, I haven't. Okay, let's Google Beyond ATC. Oh, Beyond ATC. What's this? I'm gonna have to watch one of those videos. Beyond ATC brings modern ATC. Right, so ultra realistic AI voices, FAA and ICAO phraseology, AI traffic control, IFR and VFR, full sim brief integration, customizable user data. But those things are with VATSIM. I think probably the only difference with this is this could be 24 hours a day, but you've only got 250 voices with regional accents from almost every country. How much will you see, but this is not free. $60 one-time purchase. What's this? Transmission pack small. You buy transmission. Let's have a look.
This is a basic voice sample. UK Mail, Speedbird 8829er, runway 27 right taxi via Alpha, link 12, Bravo 3, Charlie.
Well, the voices sound good, I'll give you that.
This is a premium voice sample, US female.
This is a premium voice sample, UK Mail, Speedbird 882.
This is an offline voice sample, UK Mail.
Well, the voices sound very good, I'll give you that. But I can't see how it's going to work. I can't. And also, people paying for it. Excuse me. Well, I'll have to watch a couple of videos on that, but I can't see it taking over from VATSIM or IVAO. What I can see is that it's an added string to the bow, and maybe useful for people who don't want to interact with real people, because you tend to see that an awful lot. on VATSIM. You find people don't want to interact with the real person, which is really frustrating for the controllers. I'm not sorry, Alex. I'm not fighting the future at all, but I just can't see it. I can't see it take. You know, when someone says, "Oh, it's going to take over," I just can't see that somehow. Be interesting, I must admit. It looks very interesting.
Traffic, Foxtrot 38, Foxtrot Quebec, Golf on the runway 29.
And I certainly won't be paying for it. Like the co-pilot, only good. Yeah, the voices sound great. You'd use it over VATSIM. Well, if it's 24/7, then you know, and you're always guaranteed ATC, which is a little like Pilot Edge. Is it Pilot Edge in America? I can't remember now. If it's 24/7 and you've got full ATC coverage on your flight, then yes, that would be fantastic. Really would. Really would. But I can't. Right guys, you've been here so long, you're all chattering away. Give me a thumbs up anyway. Because you're in my stream, you might as well. Right, where are we? Yeah, 24/7 worldwide coverage mixed with AI traffic. Oh, mixed with AI traffic? Ooh. What happens? Do they get the AI traffic out of the way for you? And what happens? So, hang on. There's no real world traffic. It's just you. And AI traffic. Is that what you're saying? So it's fully integrated. It's fully integrated. So the AI traffic is fully. Oh, hang on. Hello.
traffic, Alpine 30 Yankee Romeo, established ILS 25, 8 miles, Oli.
Alright guys, unfortunately I'm going to have to go. I was hoping to finish this stream, but I'll try and finish it later. I do apologise, fact of life. Alright, catch you all later. I will come back, probably half an hour or so. Alright, do apologise. It's just one of those things. I never seem to be able to finish a stream just lately.